The Blue Rose Princess and the White Snake. Hazel loved her father's kingdom, a quiet valley nestled between gentle hills. But lately, the soil was growing tired. The vibrant gardens were fading into dull greys and browns. King Silas was too weak to find a cure. Hazel knew the old legends spoke of a magical flower that could heal the earth, but she never thought she would actually find it. Deep in the forgotten corner of the royal greenhouse, behind a wall of dry vines, a strange blue light flickered. Hazel pushed the branches aside, dust dancing around her face. There, sitting in a patch of perfectly dark, rich soil, was a single rose. Its petals glowed like a piece of the evening sky, softly humming with ancient, gentle magic. As Hazel reached out to touch the glowing petals, the leaves on the ground rustled. A sleek, beautiful white snake slid out from beneath the roots. It did not look angry or dangerous. Instead, it raised its head, looking at her with intelligent, bright blue eyes. It was guarding the magic, waiting for someone with a kind heart to finally arrive. Hazel did not pull away. As she gently touched the snake's smooth head, a bright flash of warm white light filled the greenhouse. When she opened her eyes, the snake was gone. In its place sat a boy with unruly white hair and the exact same gentle blue eyes. He smiled, introducing himself as Orion. Orion explained that he was the guardian of the Blue Rose. A bitter woman named Morwenna had cursed the valley out of anger, trapping Orion in the form of a snake. The only way to break the curse and heal the dying land was to plant the blue rose at the very center of the Whispering Woods. Hazel knew her father was too weak to make the journey, so she had to do it herself. With Orion's help, she carefully dug up the blue rose and placed it into a small clay pot. As the sun finally set, casting long shadows, the two new friends stepped out of the greenhouse and into the quiet evening. The Whispering Woods were usually a place of quiet beauty, but Morwenna's sorrow had turned the trees twisted and grey. Thick shadows clung to the path, making it hard to see. But the little blue rose acted like a tiny lantern. Its warm magic pushed the darkness away, guiding their steps deeper into the forest. Suddenly, the path was blocked by a massive wall of sharp, grey thorns. It was the heart of the curse, designed to keep everyone away. Hazel felt a wave of doubt, but Orion stepped forward without fear. He placed his hand on the deadly vines, his eyes glowing with the same pale light as his snake form. High above the path, watching from a rocky cliff, was Morwenna. She saw the boy she had cursed, and the brave girl carrying the blue rose. A part of her wanted to send more thorns to stop them. But seeing that warm, familiar blue light reminded her of the beautiful valley she used to love, making her hesitate. Hazel and Orion finally reached the very center of the Whispering Woods. The ancient trees here formed a perfect circle, leaving a patch of dark, empty earth in the middle. Orion explained this was the heart of the valley. If they planted the blue rose here, its healing magic would spread all the way back to the castle and save the dying land. Before Hazel could kneel down to plant the flower, a cold wind swept through the clearing. Morwenna stepped out from the heavy shadows, her faded purple cloak swirling around her. She raised her wooden staff, her restless grey eyes full of old pain. She told them they were too late, and that the valley deserved to be forgotten, just as she had been. Orion tried to stand in front of Hazel to protect her, but Hazel gently pushed his arm down. She stepped toward the bitter woman. Instead of acting angry or scared, Hazel looked at Morwenna with deep compassion. She held out the glowing blue pot, letting its warm, comforting light shine directly onto Morwenna, offering understanding instead of a fight. Hazel spoke softly, telling Morwenna that the valley had never forgotten her, and that it was not too late to heal both the land and her own heart. The warm blue light reminded Morwenna of the peaceful days before her sorrow took over. For the first time in years, she let go of her anger, and her wooden staff fell. With Morwenna stepping aside, the path to the center was finally clear. Hazel walked to the patch of dark earth. She knelt down, carefully removing the glowing blue rose from its clay pot, and gently planted it deep into the soil. She patted the dirt around its roots, whispering a quiet thank you to the brave little magical flower. As soon as the roots touched the deep earth of the valley, the blue rose released a brilliant wave of magic. It was not a sudden explosion, but a gentle, sweeping tide of warm blue and gold light. The magic rippled across the ground, washing over the twisted trees and breathing life back into the tired, quiet grey woods. The gentle magic did not stop in the forest. It rushed across the hills and swept through the quiet kingdom. From his balcony, King Silas watched in pure amazement as the grey fields turned vibrant green again. The wilting flowers in the courtyard bloomed, and for the first time in months, the weary king smiled, knowing his brave daughter had succeeded. The journey back felt entirely different. The scary, twisted woods were now filled with soft moss and warm sunlight. Morwenna walked beside Hazel and Orion, no longer a bitter outcast, but a welcomed friend. The curse was fully broken, and Morwenna finally felt the heavy, cold weight of her past mistakes lift from her shoulders completely. The valley was safe, and the kingdom was more beautiful than ever. Orion decided to stay, helping Hazel tend to the royal gardens that were now bursting with life. Sometimes, the smallest act of courage and a little bit of compassion is all it takes to heal a broken world. And so, their new magical chapter began. Weeks passed, and the quiet valley transformed entirely into a vibrant paradise. King Silas, feeling stronger every single day, walked through the sunlit castle courtyard. To his surprise, he found Morwenna gently tending to the new blooming vines. They shared a quiet, forgiving smile. The kingdom was no longer just healed. It was finally united. High above the village, Hazel and Orion sat together, watching the golden sunset wash over their beautiful home. The blue rose was safe, and the white snake's curse was just a distant memory. Hazel learned that true magic wasn't just hidden in the rich soil, but in the brave courage to show kindness when it is needed most.